Right, so if you guys can just please count off for me to make sure I have enough amount of people here.
1,
2,
3,
4,
5, 6. All right, thank you guys. Let's get started. Has anybody ever wondered what the connections are between an Easter bunny, scavenging for eggs in a garden as a kid, eating chocolate, painting baskets, has to do with Jesus' resurrection in Christian religion in America? Because I know I have. Hi, my name's Kevin, and I'm here to explain just that very fact to you guys about Christianity, more in fact, Easter. So before we get started, we have to know about the origins of Easter. And with that being said, what is Easter? For anybody here that doesn't know, Easter is actually a celebration that celebrates Jesus' resurrection. That lands on a Sunday. But really, it comes at the end of Lent, which is a 40-day fasting period, repentance, spiritual awakening, if you will, all leading up to the Sunday Easter. Now, with that being said, what a lot of folks don't realize, there's actually more behind it as to where that actually even came from. And what I mean by that is, what does that picture right here of the resurrection of Jesus have to do with this guy right here? The good old Easter bunny, right? There's Uncle Tom. The fact is, the origins of Easter, they actually came from pre-Christian Germany. This is back when they had pagan roots, polytheism, the belief in multiple deities and gods. And with one god in particular, there was a god named Oestra, similar to Easter. There you go, you see that connection there. And what do you know? I have a picture of her. There she is, lavishly beautiful, holding a bunch of funny rabbits. Oestra was a symbol of fertility and of rebirth. Very similar to how spring is a symbol of fertility and rebirth. And they would hold an annual feast to celebrate her on the vernal equinox. And the vernal equinox is when the sun crosses the equator. And when it crosses the equator, it makes nighttime and daytime the same time frame, the same length, which means spring. And that usually happens around March 21st. And what do you know? Easter's around March 22nd to April 25th. What do you know? The connection's there. So with that being said, when she came into the picture back in 13th century, she's been there for a while. Here comes the 15th century, here comes Roman Catholicism coming into Germany. That is when these two traditions, or I should say religions in a sense, started bonding. The Roman Catholic Church had to compete with pagan traditions back in the day. So the way they looked at it, she's a symbol of spring and fertility. Rabbits are a symbol, or her symbol of fertility, because rabbits multiply pretty quick. Well then, the eggs of rabbits must signify rebirth, right? So the Roman Catholic Church actually wanted to make the connection that rabbit eggs symbolize rebirth, which symbolizes Jesus' resurrection. He's rebirthing. Funny note though, rabbits don't lay eggs. You maybe knew that. Funny quote. Yeah, okay, good stuff. So, continuing, in the 16th century, that's when that tradition started building up of knowing Jesus' resurrection to Easter eggs and rabbits and Oestra and all that cool stuff. And then here comes the 17th century when the story was actually finally published about having a rabbit that would run away, lay some eggs in a hidden garden, and people had to go scavenge for them. That was after those things have been introduced. And you can find these facts at history.com. There's actually a really nice website where I got a lot of my tools from. And then in the 18th century, early 18th century, when the German immigrants started coming into the U.S., they started settling in the northeastern Pennsylvania area. And what do you know? They brought this story and this tradition with them into the U.S., and what do you know? It started growing. Next thing you know, it starts building into the fact that we start painting eggs different colors, we start painting baskets, we start sending cards that have rabbits holding twigs and eggs on them. And what do you know, Easter starts turning into more of this weird festive where we're hunting for eggs and eating chocolate and doing all these weird things from all the tradition that follows. Now with that being said, after it blew up in the United States, why do we still celebrate it the way that it is today? Why are these roots not really around? Now I've seen some things online about this, not the theologists online talk about this. There is actually truly no biblical evidence. There's no story in the Bible talking about running and finding Easter eggs or fat kids in the corner eating chocolate little eggs. There's none of that stuff in biblical reference. And the funny thing is, there really is no connection between Jesus' resurrection in biblical sense and this polytheistic God that we're talking about. Really, it was just two ideas that came together and said, let's find a fusion here. And what do you know? Easter Sunday, and the way we celebrate in America, we get together, we feast in the vernal equinox, and we go find some eggs, and we eat ourselves a ton of candy. That is Easter. What do you guys think about that? Not bad, right? Small applause. Thank you. With that being said, are there any questions that I could possibly help you guys out with?
I do have a question.
Yes, sir, in the front row.
How is the Easter Sunday date justified?
The Easter Sunday date is generally justified by the vernal equinox, like we talked about before. So what I mean by that is that it ranges from March 22nd to April 25th. It's wherever that springtime really hits, people find a Sunday in between there, and they plan that Sunday that best represents that middle balance between those two time frames. It's kind of there's really not like an actual approximate, there's not really like an exact Sunday. It's just really whenever the vernal equinox hits from the astronomers, they qualify that as a vernal equinox day. So that Sunday is Easter. Kind of makes sense?
Yeah.
So another question for you. Do people all around the world celebrate Easter the same as we do?
No. Actually, in the Western Hemisphere, we are known as unorthodox Christians in American culture, so we tend to not do things exactly as they should be around the world in a sense. So we go out, we feast, our kids go hunt for painted eggs that sometimes contain money, candy, whatever it will be. Whereas if you were to go to Europe right now, Orthodox religion, they just have a simple feast that is just strictly towards Jesus' resurrection, which is, the end of Lent, and then that's it. They have a great feast and they're done. There's no hunting for eggs or anything like that. So a little bit different. Any other question? Yes, sir.
Do most Christian Americans know the true roots of Easter?
Most Christian Americans do not know the true roots of Easter, and that's to do with the belief that a lot of the older Roman Catholic Church instilled that, yes, this was biblical reference, yes, this was said, this was done, when in fact it really wasn't. It was the collision of two religions, one based off of polytheism, other one that was monotheism, and the Roman Catholic Church had to find a way to bridge the gap, and they thought, you know what, you like your deity Oestra, we like Jesus' resurrection, let's try to find a merge. What do you know? Eggs symbolize rebirth, resurrection. Let's go ahead and apply that to Jesus. And there you go. Yes, sir.
So you're telling me the Catholic Church did that as a selling point for the religion?
If you want to talk about marketing, it was a really good marketing gimmick. So, there you go.
Do you think it's going to change anytime soon?
I doubt it. It is so instilled in the Western tradition that I don't think it's going to change. If you go to Europe, they don't celebrate the same way we do. It's really based off of Western culture. Like I said, those German immigrants, when they came to the U.S., that was a story brought into here. Over there and overseas in Europe, they do not celebrate Easter in the same tradition we do. So this is really based off of American Christian culture. So,
That's rather sad.
kind of nice too. You could eat a lot of chocolate. Any other questions, guys? I love chocolate. No? Thank you guys very much. Hopefully you guys now can impress your friends on Easter Sunday.